Hi, my name is Lorana Jones. This is my first semester of ethnic study. Please excuse me, I'm very nervous. I don't like to be on a camera. So I'm going over my topic that I decided to do for my final project. And the topic that I decided to pick was, how does media perpetrate racial stereotype and racism? I decided to look at the media itself, such as the news and newspaper articles that I go and look at online, and majority of my information come from YouTubers. That's the news site. That's the new media. That's the new what is it called? Anchors. I get news anchors to where we get the information from. That's the new modern day news anchor YouTubers. I don't really like to watch the news because I do know that they lie about a lot of false information, and they are very misleading and have misinformation, and it can mess with your perception for the minority population in the United States. And it's very misleading with false advertising about the facts. And some of the information that it has is very biased. And the images that they show on the media sites are very misleading as well. So for example, I am using a video that I seen on social media and a YouTuber that I watched called Salty Cracker. And the topic is black white supremacists warn and kick the hell out of New York taxi drivers. So this is what I'm using for my presentation as well as evidence. So as you can see in the video, you see that a taxi driver is getting beat up. And this is a YouTuber is going over what's going on.
With all of this degeneracy, here's New York City, and all of those white supremacists are beating the hell out of a taxi cab driver. That's where, kick to the face. There you go. That's, I'm sure someone's going to get right on that. I'm sure the New York Police Department, I'm sure this scumbag piece of shit, Mayor Adams, I'm sure everybody, highly concerned. AOC, right? Highly concerned about how are white supremacists constantly getting away with this? Day after day after day, clips after clips after clips of the scourge known as white supremacists. You can't just keep getting away with it. I mean, for fuck's sake, when's this dam going to break? When are people going to recognize it's totally fine to call out the obvious in the situation? White supremacy is not the problem in these Democrat-run
shills. So do you see the obvious?
Everybody's got a motherfucking cell phone on them. Everybody's got a 4K camera in their fucking pocket. Yet the biggest issue, the biggest threat to the homeland security of all these Democrat-run places is white supremacists. Yet every single one of these videos are clearly not white people doing any of this. And nobody fucking help
white
it.
supremacy.
Everybody
We see a black lady beating another person with a race, a different race,
who has now been grand juried,
and other black people
for saving all those people on the subway. Everyone's walking by going, I ain't getting involved. I ain't
entertaining it
that's
and
part of the
jumping
point,
in
by
as
the
well.
way, of arresting Daniel Penny.
This is what's going on in today's
society. To exacerbate the crime in these areas, and they don't want
this
good
is a crime that is happening to the individual
they want
guy
you to stand
that's
down.
on the
They want you, I
ground.
think you should just flee.
Another
Take your fucking business and flee.
nationality.
Let these places cave in on themselves. But here you go, yet some more white supremacy.
Okay, so I decided to pick that one because it was very interesting to me, and he's basically telling you what's going on. As you can see, how the media and social media also can be biased and misleading to what's going on in the individual video. In this class, I also came across the fact that I was able to learn about many different things, such as reproductive rights and genocide, racial stereotypes, and identity. I learned that within this course that today's society, history repeats itself, and that we have an issue with white supremacy, we have an issue with race, we have an issue with racism, and that it needs to be addressed so that we can solve the issues in today's society. If we don't solve these issues, it will be right back at our door, our front door. So the key thing is to solve these issues. So when it comes down to reproductive rights, I decided to look into that as well and learn from the course when it came down to contraception, abortion and fertility, treatment, reproductive health, and access to information about one's reproductive body rights, secure people freedom to decide about their body capacity to not reproduce. Sexual reproductive health and rights, including the rights for women, girls, and people who can become pregnant to make their own decision. What I learned about that in this classroom is that in today's society alone, we are faced with those very same policies that are affecting women like myself. I feel like as a woman, it should be up to the woman to decide if they want to reproduce or not. If they get pregnant, if they want to choose to make or have a baby or have an abortion, it should be up to the individual to decide that. We as women should be able to decide if we want to carry or not. It shouldn't be up to a doctor. It shouldn't be up to the legal system to decide for us. It should be up to the individual itself. So, also I learned about genocide. And with coming up with these policies, it also interferes with the genocide to where they want to basically depopularize people in general and races of all ethnicities, and just in people just to basically kill and depopulate the human race is cruel to me and messed up with this society on what's going on. Taking this class was very helpful because it gave me a better understanding of what's going on in society and how they trying to erase history. But it's so sad because why should you erase history? But I understand the reason for that too, because it's like they erase history so that they can create a whole nother history. And it's wrong because it's like you have to know where you came from and your roots so that you can know your identity. So if you erase history, you take away people's identity in itself as a whole. And taking this course had also allowed me to learn that and to get different people perceptions on what's going on in the world in today's society. When it came down to genocide, I learned that they find issues and do a lot of cause and effect, which is sad because they cause a problem and find a resolution to it, so that the scientists, the doctors can play a role as as God, which is so messed up because God created human beings and everything, I feel. And I don't feel that the scientists should be playing with people's lives. And what I mean by that is, for instance, COVID. itself. They came up with COVID in the lab, and they decide who should take the shot. And they expose that on the TV and on the news and force people to come up with the ability to take the shot so that they can have jobs, so that they can have, they can be able to work, just so that Dr. Fauci can play God and get all of these awards. And in the midst of doing all of that, people are dying. Young people die and get heart attacks from it. And then they make up all these excuses, which is so crazy. And I'm talking about it because I suffer from, well, I didn't suffer from COVID, but I did experience myself having COVID, and I ended up getting hospitalized and was in the hospital for 4 months, to where I ended up suffering from COVID pneumonia, ended up getting influenza, all because I didn't take the shot. But my son also ended up, my whole household ended up getting like sick from it. And I survived. My uncle that was 81 didn't survive. And I just feel like I had to be in the hospital for 4 months, and I was seeing and came across a lot of people die for mistreatment in the hospital due to the COVID exposure. And that is alone caused genocide among all different type of races. And it depopulated from young people to old, all across the board. Particular lots of nations and ethnic groups got formed and were destroyed due to COVID, which caused the genocide. So going through ethnic study and learning a whole lot, I learned about all these things in this course. And it helped me get a better understanding on what's going on in society, and how racism, stereotyping, everything plays a part, and what black people have to go through, because a lot of black people that didn't have a lot of money or couldn't afford medical, or just people in general that was poor, that couldn't afford the right type of medical, end up dying. And those that was wealthy was able to afford the proper medical, was able to survive and get the help that they need from COVID. So, sorry for going over the maximum. This is my final, and I feel like I was able to connect to what is going on, and hopefully I was able to show you, and you'll be able to understand what it is that I learned from your class, and how the topic was interesting to me, and that I was able to relate to what was going on in such areas. And thank you very much for allowing me to be the student that I was in your class, and for allowing me to get the appropriate information that I was supposed to get in your course. Thank you very much for allowing me to be in your class. And hopefully I was able to connect everything on the topic. Thank you very much, Lorana Jones.